So let's talk about Arsenal. Now, about a couple hours ago, Arsenal faced off midday game here in the UK, faced off against Leicester, and I predicted this game in my previous video to be a 1-1 draw. I thought would be an acceptable result. This was before I knew about the injury to the likes of Maddison and all their other injuries that they have at Leicester going on right now. And Arsenal come an absolutely dominated performance, in which I will say right now, before any Leicester fans goes and comment on this, we rotated this side heavily. There were lots of players who I didn't think that would start. One of them I suspected would have started in our Willian, just because he got an assist on Thursday, but I didn't think that I would see Pepe. I thought Saka would have played. He didn't start or play in the whole game in terms of coming up off the bench. So he's gotten rest, which is rightful for me. I also think Saka should probably be somewhat rested against the Burnley game. Maybe he comes on in the last half an hour and performs there, depending on how we're playing. We saw Lacazette start the game, who hasn't had a game in a while, and unjustly was probably dropped. I know he had a couple of games a game whereby he didn't score, and then since then he was then dropped. We saw Cedric, we saw Pablo Mari come in, we saw El Nene come in. I mean, really and truly, probably the only ones that were the ones that we traditionally see were David Luiz, Kieran Tierney, Granit Xhaka. Yeah, that was it. Those three players were the only ones that you could say, you know what, they're the ones that we kind of see week in, week out that are Arteta's favourite. But it looks like Arteta decided to stick with the players on the pitch that were more so the leaders, and the leaders off the pitch. So we all know the effect that David Luiz has on games on the pitch and within that dressing room. We've heard about Granit Xhaka being seen as somewhat of a leader on the pitch. And to be honest, Arsenal put in a fantastic performance, 3-1 to the Arsenal. And this is an away performance, and I know there wasn't any fans there to make it seem like a traditional away performance, but we also got to remember this is an away performance, and Arsenal played very, very well. Completely surprised me. I never saw it coming with that. And I've got to say that you just have to hope that we can continue this run of form in the next game against Burnley and then in the Europa League. But we got to talk about some players there who deserve some big props, as I normally like to do with these videos. For me, let's start in defence. Cedric Soares, I think, was very, very good today. Put in a good, solid performance, all-round game. I mean, the reason why I like Cedric is that, defensively, he's very good. Attacking wise, he's good. He's always going to give you an overall a decent performance, especially when you play him in the right position. And he was solid all day. He allowed Pepe to go on and do his thing and to cause nothing but trouble to that Leicester defence. And for me, he deserves an absolute amount of credit today in his performance. Another player that I want to talk about is Nicolas Pepe. Now, I've gone on record to say that I am not a Nicolas Pepe fan. However, in recent games, he has been playing well. And I believe if you've been playing well, then you should play the next game. For me, I see it as a reward. You score goals, you create chances, then you play. And especially if besides that, you also play well, then you should definitely play. So it was a bit unlucky over the past, 3-4 games that we haven't seen Nicolas Pepe. This time he plays on the right. But overall, he contributed very, very well. His dribbling alone had the young fullback Thomas just not even sure what to do, not even sure how to handle him in any type of way. I think it was a stick or twist moment whereby, they're not sure whether he should tackle him, because if he tackles him inside the box, he's going to give away a penalty. If he tries to go in for a tackle, he's either going to give away a free kick or Pepe's just going to go past him. But nevertheless, Pepe there causing all type of problems all game. And for me, when I did the show on 101 Arsenal earlier on today, it was I had to say on how well that he did. He was, for me, the second best player on the pitch in terms of his performance. Just really good consistent performance from Pepe today. I want to see that a lot more often. I don't know. Normally I say he's predictable on the right, and I prefer to see him out there on the left. But this time on the right, he seemed to be a lot better. Not sure if that's just due to the Leicester fullback Thomas, who he just kept ripping it up. Maybe it's worth testing him against better opposition. We got Burnley next week, so you might think that Burnley might be a better test for him there. But you have to give Nicolas Pepe lots of points in today's game. Deserve every bit of credit on top of that. And the last player that I wanted to talk about, a player that I talked about in my last video, that Arteta was probably going to play him or start him just because of the fact that he got an assist in today's game. And for me, I'm not a Willian fan. I thought at the beginning of the season he was going to be exactly the type of signing that we would need. Just always going to be consistent, at least a majority at a time. 8 times out of 10, he's going to be like at least decent or good. But today he was absolutely fantastic. Got 2 assists, one for Pepe's goal. The other was the first goal that was scored by David Luiz, that came from a corner. And he was just brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. All day, worked hard, he tracked back. Obviously created chances with a couple of assists. Didn't get some goals, but nevertheless, you got to say that he did put in a shift in a Leicester side that, yes, had a lot of injuries, but Willian has probably been our worst performing player this season, and for our worst performing player to come up against a side that's in the top 4 and to be able to perform like this, I gotta say you gotta give him credit, and you gotta ask Willian, mate, where have you been? Because we wanted more throughout the whole season. And like I said on my last video, if Willian could come for the next 13 games of the Premier League and get 1 assist per game by the end of the season, he'll have 14, 15 assists, and today he got 2. So I believe that puts him at 4 assists for the season, which I don't think is that bad. I think that's at the bare bones, that's decent if you're a young player. For me, I'm expecting somewhere closer to 10, especially if he's going to be playing a lot of games. And I've always felt that Willian is one of Mikel Arteta's favourites. So I do think that we're going to end up seeing Willian a lot more than people like me would like, especially when it's at the detriment of the likes of Smith Rowe, who unfortunately got a bit of an injury. He's got a muscle injury. So my guess is that he isn't going to be back for a while. You have to say that he probably will most likely miss the Burnley game. I think he probably needs some rest. Maybe he'll be back for the Spurs game on the bench overall, but which means he'll probably go and miss the first leg of the Olympiacos game. So definitely probably after the Spurs game for that second leg. And we're going to need him. We're going to need him overall in terms of what he's able to do on the pitch. For me, he's always been the type of player that's able to create and score goals, and we need more players like that. But hopefully he'll get rested, and then we can start to progress forward once again. But just some honourable mentions I want to call out. David Luiz scored the first goal, especially when we were 1-0 down. I know you were starting to think, and I was thinking as well, like, are we going to lose this game? Because I predicted a draw, and I expected 1-1, and David Luiz coming, we got the goal, confidence started to bring in. Arsenal really fought back, and that's something that we've been doing recently, is really getting in there and fighting back. And you saw midweek, last week, in the Benfica game, the fight back that we did to come back and win the game. And today again, it was the same thing. The fight back was just so impressive, and that's the one thing you got to say that I love about this team right now. And you got to give plaudits up to Mikel Arteta, because somehow he's getting the team ticking. He has managed to resuscitate Willian and his Arsenal career. And you got to say, you got to love that. He's able to get the best out of players that he has. Again, I'm not Arteta in. I'm somewhere in the middle, because I think that there are a few red flags. Martinelli, what's going on? Like, why isn't he playing? When Saliba was here, why not give Saliba a game or two? Still a few red flags for me in regards to some of the treatment of particularly the young players. And I could kind of understand because of where he's learned a lot of his coaching from Pep, and Pep doesn't really deal with a lot of young players, so I get that. But we're Arsenal Football Club, we develop our young players, and I would like to see a lot more with that. So I think good game from David Luiz, good team lineup from Mikel Arteta, and you just have to say that you just hope in the next game against Burnley that we're able to go and do this again overall. But what are your thoughts about the game? I know a lot of Arsenal fans right now are happy. They want to hear what a lot of fans have to say on the game. 3-1, were you predicting that? And if you were, definitely leave a comment below, because I didn't think that we were going to win this game. You know, Leicester are a tough side, and even with their injuries, I still thought that they would have given us a little bit more throughout the game. I mean, the first goal that they scored did come from a Granit Xhaka error. Granit Xhaka and Willian, to be honest, just bad pass from Xhaka. Willian not in the right position to receive it, and just Xhaka not being able to get back, and Tielemans goes and scores the first goal. But after that, I mean, Leicester were just lacking any type of creativity. And you could tell, you know, with the loss of Harvey Barnes throughout the game, and he looks like he's got a serious injury. Maddison looks like he's got an injury as well. I don't know how long that's going to be. I'm sure Leicester fans probably have an idea on how that is. But, you know, with that being the last time we're going to face Leicester this season, Arsenal aren't going to see him until the next season. And then I see they've got the likes of Ayoze Perez out injured. So I don't know how they're going to be able to keep this kind of top four run that they have. But Leicester are strong sides. If they manage to get some players back early, then who knows what they can do overall in the Premier League. But I will say this, great result, but we have to be consistent. We have to use this as a platform for the Burnley game, for Spurs, for Olympiacos going forward. So to everyone, leave your comments below on what your thoughts were on the game. I'm loving it. I'm buzzing. It's a win I never would have expected. And you got to say, if you're an Arsenal fan, you're probably happy with the current scoreline at the end of the game. So do leave your comments below. And Leicester fans, if you are watching this, like, tell me your thoughts on the game. I know you're probably a bit gutted, and you know, probably know that if you didn't have a lot of injuries, the result would have probably ended up maybe a small Arsenal win or probably a draw. So leave your comments below on that. But until then, I will see you all on my next video, which there's a link in the comment section below or in the end screen, as you can see here right now.